joined the Betamax Video Club, rewinding back to our favourite films of the 1980s. My name's Rich Nelson, and tonight I've rented Three Men and a Baby. Watching it with me is Jenny Morrill from The World of Crap. Hi Jenny, how are you?
Hello, I'm very impressed you got my name right first time as well.
Oh, is that a regular bugbear?
No, that's amazing, well done.
Now, Three Men and a Baby, I'll admit up front, it's the first time that the legend Steve Guttenberg has appeared on the podcast. What's so special about this film for you?
Well, this is the problem. Up until about a week ago, I've grown up and had my adult life thinking, I love Three Men and a Baby, it's such a brilliant film, oh, it's my favourite film. And then I watched it again, I'm like, why do I like this film? So it's taken me about 4 goes to watch it all the way through.
Okay.
And over the course of about a week, I've been making notes, and now I've come back to my notes, and I don't know what I meant by some of them. So I'm not quite sure where we're going to end up with this. But basically, if you guys don't know the plot of, for some reason in my head I keep calling it Three Men Have a Baby, which is a completely different film.
Yes.
And then in my head I got it confused with, what's the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger fucks Danny DeVito and they have a baby? What's that one?
Junior.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, I got it confused with that. So we're off to a brilliant start.
Yeah.
Anyway, basically, there's three men, and there's a baby, and they're all the father. I think they've all fucked the same woman, and they're all the father, I think. And then there's some drugs. And the end.
Yeah, I mean that's
it's a really good film.
It's a pretty good summary.
Yeah.
Before I'd watched it a couple of days ago, it's the first time I'd probably seen it in 20 years plus.
Yeah.
Certainly the first time I've seen it since I've had kids, albeit they're only 2.5 and nearly 1. But it's a very different thing, and this is part of the fun that I have in watching these films that I hadn't seen for years.
And do you share your kids with loads of different men like they do? Do you all look after them together?
No, because even when the youngest one is picked up by my brother, she starts screaming. So
oh, okay.
Yeah, they just about let the dog near them and that. But even me on certain days they don't like. So I'm the bad guy.
So they wouldn't be very good with Tom Selleck looming over them.
No, and
okay.
This is one of the things I found strange. You've essentially got 3 guys living together. You've got Tom Selleck, Steve Guttenberg, Ted Danson, all living in this huge New York apartment. Ted Danson, the actor, is off shooting rubbish TV film in Turkey. So while he's away, and it's sold from the beginning. It's Tom Selleck's birthday, isn't it? This huge party.
Yes, and I noticed that. Hang on, because I made a note of it. Where is it? Basically, there was a bit, and I think it's near the beginning. They go to some sort of party, so it must have been that. But it's Tom Selleck is supposed to be the big ladies' man, I think. But he goes to a nightclub in a cardigan. Yeah. But then that must just be the done thing. I don't know.
Maybe that's how he got all the girls in the 80s.
Well, this is it. Then he's his woman. She's obviously made him this big crane cake because he's an architect. She made him a big cake with a crane on it. But she's like, I don't care about you. You're just a casual fling, but I've made you this massive, brilliant cake for your birthday. I thought that was a bit strange. It's
an odd relationship because I think that at some point they say that they've been together for 5 years, but they're not exclusive. That she's gone on, I think at one point she goes on a date with some sort of Hungarian.
Yes, the cellist. Well, the other thing, if I just go back to birthday party, Ted Danson, he has this kind of smoking jacket on, and right. Do you remember the episode of Bottom where, bear with me, where Richie meets that Russian heiress and he's about to get laid off her?
Is that the one where he has to sell his kidney?
Possibly. He's got this smoking jacket on when she comes round, and he just looks like that. I don't know, what is that? Were you trying to emulate Ted Danson in Three Men and a Baby? I don't know.
It's a good look. Well, one of the things I noticed was Tom Selleck was wearing the same shirt that Alec Baldwin was wearing in Beetlejuice. This sort of black and white checkered picnic blanket type thing. But he spent most of his party looking like he was showing his mates a basketball video. I don't know if I'd run through all that stuff, the greatest hits of Arsenal's 1989 season on VHS.
Oh, I don't know.
I'd be quite bored.
That might be quite fun. I don't know.
For a select small group of friends, perhaps. But yeah, all two of them. Hello.
I'll be honest, that might have been one of the bits in the film where I clicked the screen off and stopped actually watching it and went on Reddit while it was playing. So I might have missed that, I'm not sure.
It's funny, I mean, this film, it's a remake of a French one. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I've seen it.
Trois men, un bébé, probably.
Je m'appelle...
Où est la piscine? Je suis le pantalon.
C'est de la banque.
I beg your pardon, you dirty devil.
Oh, I've been watching too many Bond films. These three guys, I mean, you've got Tom Selleck and Ted Danson, who I made a rough guess, they're about 40. I suppose this must be Pete Guttenberg, 1987. We're fresh off Police Academy, Cocoon, Short Circuit, that really shitty looking film he did with Michael Caine. He's portrayed as a very sexless being compared to the other two, isn't he?
He's like the nice one, isn't he? He's the nice, cute one.
Yeah.
And I think his job is drawing on the walls of their flat, and they pay him because they feel sorry for him. I think that's his job.
Shit 80s Banksy.
Yes. Also, Steve Guttenberg, I didn't know who he was for like 20 years. I thought he was, what's his name? Michael McKean. I thought he was Steve Guttenberg because I'd seen Short Circuit 2, but hadn't seen Short Circuit 1. And I was like, Steve Guttenberg's in Short Circuit 1. Therefore, he's this guy in Short Circuit 2. And then every time he came on a film, I was like, oh, look, it's Steve Guttenberg. And you'd be surprised how often that happened. And
have you ever seen them in the same place?
I just wonder why everyone just gave me a look when I said that. As if it's some in-joke that I'm not explaining to them. I was like, no, finally somebody took pity on me and they're like, that's not Steve Guttenberg. Oh, okay. The end. That was the world's best anecdote, wasn't it?
I liked it because Steve Guttenberg, I was trying to explain to my wife the other day that to me he's like the Molly Ringwald. His star burned so bright for such a short period of time and then he vanished off the face of the earth.
He was the hero we needed but didn't deserve.
Yes, and yet we look now and Tom Selleck and Ted Danson's careers seem to have had a very strong renaissance, and Guttenberg, fuck knows what he's doing.
I know about Ted Danson. What is Tom Selleck up to?
He's in Blue Bloods, that sort of New York cop show. I think it's quite popular in America. I watched it for a couple of episodes and got a bit bored. It's him and Mark Wahlberg's brother.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean that's been going on for years. I think he's doing quite well, and obviously he was in Friends and that. But
I forgot. Yeah.
Ted Danson's in that. Is it the Good Place?
Yeah, and well, I mostly know him from two things. I know him off of Loch Ness, and off of being apparently related to the British royal family. Apparently.
Oh, really?
Well, okay, you'll never believe this, but a few months ago I had to write a quiz for the Den of Geek magazine, right? And my boss said, make it quite silly, put some joke questions in there. So I thought, I know. True or false? Ted Danson is related to the royal family. I thought, no. She emailed me back the next day and she's like, can I just check on this? Because sources on the internet are saying this is true. And I'm like, are you kidding? I wrote that as a joke. Are you actually kidding? But it turns out, there is some information that says he might be like distantly related to our royal family.
Ooh. We might have a King Ralph on our hands.
I love Ted Danson. I'd be happy to have him as like the Queen. The next Queen. That'd be amazing.
I think he'd enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm not sure where this conversation's gone. I don't know what this has got to do with Three Men Have a Baby.
Well, no, but Ted Danson as the Queen kind of lends itself to the baby.
And then what? Yes. Then she would be like the next Queen.
Yeah, she could be the next Meghan Markle.
And Steve Guttenberg would be like the consort.
I'd like to live in that world.
Yeah. So
it turns out that Ted Danson, and I don't think I wrote down any of their character names because
he's called Jack.
He's Jack. Okay.
He's Jack. Tom Selleck is Peter. Steve Guttenberg is the other one.
So Ted Danson has been, the year before, had been in a play in Stratford. Was it The Taming of the Shrew?
Yeah.
And had knocked up Nancy Travis. She left a baby on his doorstep. But because he's in Turkey, Tom Selleck's off for a run. And we know he runs, and we know he's a ladies' man, because at one point on one of his runs, he harasses a young woman who's not wearing a bra, takes her back to his flat, clearly has his way with her. And now, bear in mind, this is 1987. We're talking roughly AIDS ground zero. Now, he goes off running, and luckily he didn't bring a lady back this time. But he comes back, there's a baby on the doorstep with just the note saying, "Dear Jack, this is our baby." Now, you said Jack was Ted Danson, wasn't it?
Yes.
That makes sense. And because Danson's on holiday, he's not on holiday, he's working in Turkey, you've got Tom Selleck and Guttenberg trying to entertain this baby, and it's all very sort of shock to the system, fish out of water.
It is hilarious, and it is all fun and japes, especially when the baby wheezes on Tom Selleck. I like that bit. Very good. It's very entertaining.
Steve Guttenberg trying to entertain a baby with his hairy chest.
Oh God, yeah. I was like, I'll give you $10 if you stop crying. Okay then, if you don't want that, how about my chest? Do you want a hairy chest? I saw that bit this morning. I'm really creeped out by that bit.
He's going for his full range.
This is the fun plot twist, though. Right, hold on to your hats. Now, Ted Danson has left the other guys a note saying, "Oh, I'm expecting a package off my mate. Just stick it in a cupboard somewhere and forget about it when it arrives." And they're like, "You bastard! You can't refer to the baby as a package. I'm not putting the baby in a cupboard." It's like, no, we'll actually look after this baby. And they go out and they buy like all the formula and, I don't know, nipples and stuff they need. And then there's a nice bit of a montage with them trying to, wash the baby in the sink and look after the baby. And it's about, they've had the baby for about an hour. And Steve Guttenberg, has a 3-day beard already.
Yeah.
And they haven't slept for a week, even though they've had the baby an hour. Realistic.
Yeah, bringing back horrible flashbacks of when we had our first. And I mean, this isn't going to turn into my life story or anything, but I mean, I didn't know tiredness like it, and this shitting machine that just cried and this, that and the other. And yet they've taken to it quite well. I mean, bear in mind they have no link to this child, as far as they're aware anyway. And, they're all very careful, chucking the cotton wool everywhere and ripping the nappies, and there's the usual sort of open the shitty nappy, face melting like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And Tom Selleck has been out and bought, I think, adult nappies as well for this baby. They're super absorbent, it's fine.
They're huge, and I think they just had a load of jokes about, like you say, the word nipples.
Yeah, so that's all very hilarious. And then I definitely was checking Reddit for the next bit because I don't know what happens next. Which bit is next?
There was the funny bit I noticed because I think he was reading a book that was Dr. Spock's Guide to Babies, and bear in mind that this film was directed by Leonard Nimoy.
Oh yeah. Good spot.
I think it's because I've recognised that book somewhere in our house. Yeah, I don't think it's Star Trek related, but who knows. And then, so they're getting to grips with this baby, and then these two geezers come up to the door to pick up a package. Now, because of what Ted Danson's told them, they think the baby is the package. Yeah,
the drug guys, they don't question this. They're just like, oh yes, here's your package, it's the baby. What? No, it isn't. Yeah, they don't even say, no, it isn't. What's the baby got? The baby's got nothing to do with this. That's not my problem. No, they just take the baby. They're like, oh, yeah, that's it. Nobody questions anything.
Well, they're obviously there for drugs, but then the fact that it comes with a baby, it's not like it comes with a doll. I mean, fair enough if it was a doll. You kind of think, okay, well, it's a good cover, but it's an actual child.
Yeah, so they're just gonna take this baby and then just have this baby forever.
Well, maybe they'd have their own version of sort of two men and or two drug dealers and a baby.
Oh, as a comedy spin-off.
Oh, that would be nice.
Wow.
They could have been pissed on and all that stuff.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Yeah, ideas for a sequel. But because these guys are drug dealers, and initially they get stopped by the police because they're trying to squeeze the pram thing into the back of their very unsuitable car. They haven't got a safe car like me.
And they're trying to put the baby in the boot.
Yeah, they're trying to put the baby in the boot. So the copper on the horse tries to stop them, and then he gets followed up by like the narcotics squad sergeant. And because they realise at this point, because they found the drugs, just happens to be down the back of the couch where most people keep their heroin. Yeah. Steve Guttenberg decides, because he's an experienced drugs mule who probably watched Midnight Express or something, decides to stash the drugs in the baby's nappy. That's bold.
Yeah.
I mean, if those packages had leaked. Oof.
Yeah. Well, I say like how bad, but I don't know. I don't know what would have happened to heroin. I don't know what happens if you mix heroin and wee. Might be really good for all I know.
I might have to Google that once we've finished.
Speaking of wee, I heard this rumour, and I keep meaning to try it out, but I heard this rumour: if you eat blue raspberry laces and drink blue pop, your wee goes green.
Really?
I know, and I keep meaning to try that. I've got some blue raspberry laces. I just never get round to it, because I am an adult and busy.
But this is science.
Yeah, I really must try and wee green at some point. I just wondered if like any of your listeners had ever done that. I'm guessing not.
If you've ever had green piss, feel free to tweet me.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go to your doctors.
But or if you've ever done a wee on some heroin, let us know what happens. Science.
Well, hopefully some of my followers know about that as well.
Okie dokie.
Yes.
Anyway, plot.
Plot.
So then there's... Okay, so Tom Selleck gets the baby back off the bad men, and then they come around, the bad men come back and, like, root through his... Now, there is something about a videotape, but I don't know what that is, because I definitely missed that bit.
The videotape really was just that, because he had this huge collection of basketball videos, and as part of ransacking their apartment... Because videotape's so great, you can just leave it dangling around like some sort of decoration. I think that's what that was. I don't think... it was only the part towards the end of the film where they actually made a video. Oh, yeah, so
it's nothing incriminating. It was just like, give me my video back. Give me my best of basketball games video back.
Yeah, because you're probably thinking, in 30 years some dickhead on eBay will buy these for his Hoxton cafe. I don't know. Yeah, because... they go for all this looking for the drugs, but obviously they've stashed the drugs in the one place that you wouldn't look, in the shitty diaper bin. Ugh. But yeah, hey ho, it worked, because they smashed the place up and didn't find the drugs. And they left a note, because they kidnapped the woman who was babysitting her, didn't they? Or they tied her up anyway.
Oh yeah.
And she was very calm about it.
Yeah, and he came back and he's like, "Where's the baby? Mary, Mary," and he's shouting her like she's going to reply, like she's going to go, "Oh, I'm in here. I'm just putting some washing in, I'm in the spare room." So anyway, so he finds her and that's all okay.
Because there was a funny bit where Tom Selleck very much assumes the role of daddy. I suppose Guttenberg being the, surrogate mum.
Yeah.
So Tom Selleck, because I suppose he's got the moustache, so...
Yeah, I would have put them in that order. Naturally, yeah. I
mean, Guttenberg has this sort of very delicate, fragile charm.
Well, compared to Tom Selleck, he does, yeah.
Yeah, Tom Selleck, Magnum. And he's a man because he reads the baby Sports Illustrated. But this is something I learned at one point, was that you can read your baby anything as long as you read it in a nice tone, because I used to read sort of football news to mine when they were babies. And weirdly, Christmas just gone, I managed to get hold of a Die Hard sort of animated, cartoony style book. And I read them The Tale of John McClane on Christmas Eve.
That is brilliant.
And my oldest daughter now asks for Die Hard at bedtime, which makes my heart skip a beat.
That is excellent. Well done.
She's 2.5 and she wants Die Hard at night.
Yay!
So, brilliant.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Die Hard.
Right, so then, Danson has come home from Turkey. Now, obviously, he hasn't been made aware of any of this stuff. His only real involvement was when he was in Turkey. He phoned the house while the drug squad officer was there, making all these references to the package and how he can buy so much gear in Turkey.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot. And Tom Selleck basically tries to knock him out of a basketball.
Yeah, So yeah, he's got no idea any of this gone on. His only contribution so far is to make things worse. Anyway, so he gets back,
Yeah.
and they're like, right, you can fucking look after your own baby. We're going to the theatre together on a date.
A double date.
Yeah, and so Ted Danson is left with his babe, and he's like, well, what do I do with it? And there is a very, very, very interesting and terrifying moment coming up.
He does what most men do when left with their babies. I'll call my mum.
Yeah.
So mum comes around, and this is the part where I think most people probably refer to this film now that we have the internet and all its joy.
There is a real live super terrifying ghost in the film,
Yes.
and it's been caught on camera, and honestly it gives you nightmares, and it's super terrifying, and anyone who sees it, they die 60 years later probably. Yeah, it's quite unsettling. I don't like to watch that bit because I'm scared of ghosts.
It's like something at a jigsaw or something.
Yeah. In reality, it's it's a cardboard cutout of a man. It's like some random ass thing that they've left on the set.
I think what it is, it's actually it's one of the cardboard cutouts of Danson, because I think a couple of points during the film, you see in the apartment there is a cardboard cutout of Ted Danson, and he must have had these left over from a film or a TV show or something. And although quite well, you'd sort of half tuck it behind a curtain when his maybe an elderly mum comes to visit. So, come and meet your granddaughter.
Oh god, can you imagine going to all that trouble? That reminds me, right, when Tom Selleck first opens the door and he sees that baby there, right, and he shouts Steve Guttenberg, he's like, Steve, oh, whatever your name is, Steve, get out here. And he's like, what? And he's like, well, what do you call this? And Tom Selleck's like, he just accuses Steve Guttenberg of pulling an elaborate prank on him. It's like, okay, Steve Guttenberg is going to go to the trouble of acquiring a baby, leaving it outside on the doorstep, on the off chance that Tom Selleck will find it.
I don't know what Steve Guttenberg's lawyers are like, but perhaps that's why his career vanished quite quickly. Was that, he knows people who can sort these things out.
Oh, that's a hell of an elaborate prank.
Yeah.
And personally, I don't think that's worth it.
He's gone to the hassle of getting his flatmate to go to England and get some Englishwoman pregnant.
Just so it all fits. And then he's made Ted Danson go to Turkey.
He's playing the long game here.
But just the idea that right, this is his first thought. All right, this is Steve Guttenberg's fault. He's pranking me. Oh, knobhead.
3 Men and a Baby tagline: blame Guttenberg.
What? Oh god, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, pranking. Yeah, that would be a hell of an elaborate prank to just like get a load of cardboard cutouts of yourself made, and then just leave them dotted around your house with no explanation.
He's probably the one who's sitting in his room at night thinking, right, how can I make this go viral?
How can I make this go viral in 1987 on the internet that haven't been invented yet?
If I pause the video and it stays still long enough for me to get a decent picture, then I'll get the photo printed, then I'll post it to all my mates as a chain letter saying, if you don't forward this to 5 people, my family will die.
Yeah, and they'll be like, well, so I don't know your family. I'm not wasting a stamp. Stamps are expensive.
Remember those ones before the Nigerian prince?
Do they even use stamps in America? I genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
Do they? Okay, I didn't know if they had
I don't know how much they cost, but
I didn't know if they had some sort of like horse or dog system. I don't know. Never been to
I'd love
America.
to know what the dog system works. Post dogs.
Yeah, that'd be a good film. I do like my novelty dog films. That'd be like Post Dog. That'd be a great film.
Is that like the Snow Buddies and Air Buddies and all that?
Yeah, I watched one a while ago about a dog wrestler, but he actually wrestled humans. I think he just bit them.
Okay. What was this film called?
I'm going to Google it.
Dog wrestler.
Can't remember. It is a film about a wrestling dog. Hang on. Wrestler. Oh yeah, go on.
I remember that there was a sequel to Marley and Me, I think it was called like The Puppy Years or something. It was basically, and sort of Marley and Me was quite, it was what it was, but there was no talking dog in it until you see the sequel.
Wow.
And it's all about this dog, this Labrador puppy, who you think, oh, it's adorable, it's really cute. It has the voice of a 12-year-old boy, and it's the most irritating fucking thing ever.
This film is called Russell Madness.
Russell Madness.
Russell Madness.
Was it a Jack Russell?
Yes. And
okay.
It's from 2015, and if you go on the IMDb page, it's got the weirdest thumbnail for the trailer. Anyway, when a man inherits his grandfather's arena, he and his family try to restore the family wrestling business with the help of a talking monkey and their star attraction, a wrestling dog. It's a right good film.
Oh my God.
I don't know why, it's only got 2 stars.
I've just got it up on IMDb, and I must say I'm heavily invested in this film.
It's actually very good. It's fun.
Oh, I'm just trying to see if I recognise any of the cast. Oh, it's got Fred Willard. Jesus.
Okay.
John Ratzenberger. Fucking hell. This is a stellar cast.
I've just seen More Like This. This is a film I absolutely have to watch, called Monkey Up. Right. With their parents preoccupied with their new careers, a young girl and her brother befriend a talking monkey who is struggling to be taken seriously as an actor. Yes.
Oh, I think is that the monkey from The Hangover 2?
I don't know. There can't be that many acting monkeys. I was about to say there can't be that many talking monkeys in the world.
I think we've gone down a fantastic, I'll say rabbit hole's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, this is great. I'm gonna watch this with the other half, whether he likes it or not.
Oh, I wonder if this must be on Netflix.
4.2 out of 10. That's shocking.
Oh, well, if anyone's listening still, Russell Madness is currently available on Amazon Prime for free. Fucking hell. Right, let me just add that to my watch list.
Yeah, I think we must have watched it on Prime.
Oh,
Do you know what? Just scrap this whole thing and just play the Russell Madness trailer, and that's the episode.
I'm keeping that in. Bloody hell. Right, so we have The Fighting Monkey and... oh, no, wait, that's the other film. So we're at the point, I think this is when Danson, Guttenberg and Selleck are trying to return the drugs.
Yeah, and there's some
the
really bloody unnecessarily convoluted plot involving a lift.
Yeah. Now, they go... Because Tom Selleck's an architect, so they go to presumably the construction site that he's working at.
Yeah.
Ted Danson is in really heavy drag.
Yeah, I think he's been doing a play. I don't think he was just happened to be dressed like that.
Well, who knows, Hollywood. And then Steve Guttenberg is trying to film incriminating evidence of the drug dealers admitting their crimes while hiding in an unconnected vent.
It's like, why are you doing any of this? Like, just give them the drugs. It's nothing to do with you. Just get on with your lives.
And bear in mind that they've got the baby with them, I think, for most of this, haven't they?
They still need to try and do this and sort of foil these criminals.
This bloody do-gooders getting in the way of the law. I don't know. But it's weird because I did a film for this podcast a few months ago called Runaway, and that had Tom Selleck in it, and the final closing scene of that was in a lift, very much like this one, albeit he wasn't being attacked by evil acid-spewing robot spiders.
Well, do you think he owns a lift? And it's in his contract that you've got to use this lift in every film, and you've also got to pay me to get permission to use this lift, and that's a nice little sideline. And then maybe, when he's not filming, he rents out the lift as a novelty ride or as a portaloo.
Selleckland.
Yes! Oh my god, I'd go there. And the only ride is just a lift.
It's just got the theme from Magnum PI going up and down.
Yeah, you would go there though, wouldn't you?
I'd give it a go.
I keep thinking, like, what have they never done for, like, theme park rides? And all I can come up with is, what if one day somebody makes, like, a roller coaster, but you like, okay, you know the roller coasters, like, where you're hanging upside down under the track? What if somebody makes a roller coaster where you're just strapped in by, like, one finger, and then, but really tightly, so, like, you won't come out? It might hurt a bit. It could be called like The Finger, and then the slogan could be like, "Have you held the finger?" And then you just go whizzing around.
Don't get your finger stuck here.
Possibly somebody will build that, and they could theme it on Three Men and a Baby.
Yeah, because at least if you grow in a group of 3, one of you's got to carry a doll. One of those ones that makes the noise. That can be the thing, where on some roller coasters, if you queue the longest one, you get to go at the front. When this one, if you queue at the front, you get to hold the baby.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. And then if you drop the baby, you get fined and ejected from the park.
And you can spend the rest of your days with Steve Guttenberg in his fucking weird hut somewhere.
Does Steve Guttenberg live in a hut?
I don't know. I don't think he gets... I suppose maybe he got a cut of the royalties of the DVD of this that I had to buy. So,
you bought the DVD.
I don't know how much his share of $1.99 would be, but...
Oh my god, you bought the DVD.
Oh yeah.
I am $1.99 up on the deal.
If anyone would like the DVD of this film, then maybe I'll give it away. You can have it for free. Right, so eventually they've managed to work this convoluted scheme where, of course, Ted Danson presses the wrong button for the lift.
Yeah.
Now, the next scene they cut to is very New York in the 80s. The 3 guys are taking turns holding these babies. They're holding the baby and playing frisbee.
Oh, yeah, that montage, yeah. I love it.
And every time one of them has the baby, they're basically surrounded by women.
Horny women.
Horny women who see a moustache and a baby and think, ooh.
I must mate with him. Yeah, because that's what women think.
Well, this is what I thought when I started taking my daughter to like music class and
you
stuff.
You thought you'd be surrounded by horny women?
Yeah. I thought, because I'm frequently the only dad at these classes.
And how's that working out for you?
They look at me suspiciously. Despite the fact that my poor daughter is the spitting image of me.
That's because you don't have a frisbee.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
That's because, I'm going to a music class in Wimbledon, which is basically full of nannies.
Oh, yeah.
And me, look, it's not right. I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, you don't have a frisbee.
But then it cuts to a swimming lesson. And again, I'm often the only dad in the swimming lesson. And yet it's okay for Steve Guttenberg to go underwater with an underwater camera and start taking photos. Yet when I do it, fucking hell. It's a bit like the time I went into a class and I had my phone in my pocket and realised about halfway through. The phone survived, amazingly. But weirdly, after this, because I was watching the film with my wife, because she hadn't seen it for ages, she then brought it right back down to earth, and really poor form. She said, "Is this a story about postnatal depression?" Because the mum had turned up.
Oh.
She was on the doorstep waiting for him.
Yeah.
Now, this, I'm not going to pretend this is a comedy podcast or anything, because it really isn't. It's mine after all. But let's not go there. Let's cross that bit out.
I think it is a wacky romp about Tom Selleck having to get pissed on.
Yeah.
And it's also about Steve Guttenberg, the end. And it's got Ted Danson in it. That automatically qualifies it to be a wacky romp. In the manner of... Yeah, in the manner of Look Who's Talking. Look Who's Talking 2, and the seminal Look Who's Talking Now.
Is that the one with the dog?
Yeah. I like talking dogs, what can I say?
Well, I'll just... Oh, my dog's snoring. I'll just warn the listeners, if you're still here, Jenny also asked to do Look Who's Talking, so apologies in advance.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes. What's it with you and baby films?
I can do Russell Madness if you want, that's amazing. It's a right good film.
I might have to do it. That could be a spin-off.
Yeah.
I'll watch that at work next week. So we've got the moment where they're all singing Goodnight Sweetheart to in very, very nice unison.
Yeah.
Do-do-de-o-do. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Do-do-de-o-do. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Do-do-do-do. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Baby, I just can't treat you right. Well, I hate to leave you, baby. I don't mean maybe, because I love you so. Do-do-de-o-do-de-o-do-de-o-do. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Do-do-do-do. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Do-do-do-do. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night, sweetheart. Good night.
Yeah, so Mum arrives. She's come to take the baby to London with her, but I judged her mostly for getting in the cab without a car seat.
It's also, she has that one English accent that all English people have in America. I mean, the only exception is Daphne and Frasier, but this isn't Frasier, so it's fine. But it's like all English people in films have that one English accent, which is vaguely like a posh Billy Idol. You know, right, I'm particularly thinking of, have you seen Geostorm?
No.
That's a really good film, actually. It gets panned, but it's a very good film. There's an English guy in it, but he sounds like he's just not English and he's trying to do an English accent. And they all sound vaguely like they were in a punk band in the 80s, you know.
The mum, she was the woman from So I Married an Axe Murderer, and I think there was some sort of jokes in that about her accent, and she was a butcher, because Mike Myers, when he was funny, he had his parents, I think, were his parents in that anyway were Scottish, and basically fat bastard without the fat suits. But yeah, I think they were about the only two films I knew her from, this and So I Married an Axe Murderer, which is a very underrated film in my opinion.
Yeah, I've only seen it once, but I remember liking it. Yeah. So the mother turns up and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't be bothered with the baby. I'm sorry I left it with Ted Danson of all people, and I'll be taking it back now. I'm taking it back to London, and because I'm going to keep working in London, and my family are going to help me look after it." And they're all like, "Well, yeah, all right. See if I take the baby. I don't care. Take the baby." And they're all being manly men about it, but you can tell they're all just, you know, their hearts are breaking because the baby's leaving. They've all become this baby's dad by now.
Yeah, because they have this little montage, don't they, of like Tom Selleck finds the baby's hard hat from the construction site, and Ted Danson puts the cushion up his jumper, and I don't know, Steve Guttenberg does what Steve Guttenberg does. I think he just watches a video, doesn't he? I think he watches a video of him playing with the baby.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he does Steve Guttenberg things. He probably draws her on the wall.
But then, yeah, because she was saying that, you know, she wanted to work in New York, but she was working to pay for the babysitters and all that. I mean, that's very, you know, it's really modern day stuff.
Yeah,
you know? I mean, I feel like most of my salary goes towards childminders. But then they decide, you know, really happily, of course, we've had the airport dash.
Oh, because there has to be an airport dash in every film from this era.
3 men chasing a single mother and a baby.
And then the man at the metal detector is like, "No, you can only go through one at a time. No, don't care.
No, we come as a free." And she eventually comes back to them, and they all decide to live together, one big happy family.
Yeah, and it's lovely. I mean, if you ignore the problems down the line, but who cares about that? It's lovely. We'll all be the dad. It's fine. You be the mum. We'll all be the dad. Be great.
It's nice that there's no jealousy issues. You know, obviously Ted Danson's the biological dad, but you know, Tom Selleck, he's got no problems. He's not saying, well, you know, it's not really mine, is it? I don't want to take on the burden. You know, he's the main cheerleader for it. Really, he's the one who wants to be the dad.
Yeah, I think they are just all equally the dad, and it's lovely. And then they're all really happy about that. And then you've got the scene of they're all pushing that pushchair with the big handle on it.
Looks like one of those extendable batons the police have. You've got a buggy with a handle about 10 foot wide.
Yeah, and it's lovely because it means they all get to push and they all get to be the dad.
Well, they all get to push as long as the road's wide enough. But yeah, I mean, that was 3 Men and a Baby. Now, it's probably just as long ago that I saw the sequel to this, the imaginatively titled 3 Men and a Little Lady. Now, if I remember correctly, Tom Selleck falls in love with the mum.
Oh, I've never seen it, so does it?
That's about as far as I remember. Someone will probably tell me I'm wrong. But, yes, I mean, I suppose, again, he's, you know, independent, liberal type. Doesn't matter that his flatmates had a go and, He's getting sloppy seconds. But, I'm sorry. But and I think the kid in that is probably, 4 or 5?
Yeah, something like that, 5, yeah.
Yeah. But that came out, that was at some point in the 90s. Now, of course, I'm going to have to do my usual thing during a podcast and IMDb it.
Right, Three Men and a Little Lady, 1990.
There we go. Sylvia's work increasingly takes her away from the three men who helped bring up Mary, her daughter. She decides to move to England and takes Mary with her. The three men are heartbroken. It's exactly the fucking same.
No, they can't do that. Oh, no.
So she's threatening to take the child away. Are they going to dress up as Batman and climb up some monument?
Oh, my God.
Three Fathers for Justice.
Oh, that's horrible. I hope they win. Oh.
But she has a love interest in it.
Spoiler alert. In the end, Sylvia realises that Edward is a scoundrel.
Oh, he must be English.
And apparently he plans to send Mary to boarding school because everyone in England goes to boarding school. That's just what you do in England.
That's where you learn discipline. Maybe I'll save that. I'll watch Russell Madness first.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I'll put this one on delay. But that's Three Men and a Baby. Leonard Nimoy's finest work.
I think so.
Ish. Other than, apparently, I think he directed some Star Trek films. One thing I will say, because I'll probably get told off for it, apparently the score for this film was by the guy who did the score for The Spy Who Loved Me. So I've got some Bond friends who'll probably make a note of that and tell me if I got it wrong.
The first thing you've got wrong is having me on, to be fair.
What can I say? You came highly recommended.
And yeah, all I've done is talk about wrestling dogs.
Thanks, Tim. Right, so, Jenny,
hello.
Before we get back to talking about wrestling dogs and other films with babies, you've got a new book out. Yeah. Crap Holiday. What's it about?
Basically, it's about stupid, drunk vegans at a New Age festival.
Okay.
Melissa is a very depressed alcoholic, and her housemate Joanne tricks her into going to the Smouldering Woman New Age Festival because she wants to meet up with and have sex with her new boyfriend Fax. So it's basically their adventures at this New Age Festival. They do things like spoon carving, communal wanking, and playing the lute at all times of day. And it's basically just her trying to cope with this by just drinking as much Pernod as possible and trying to pass out. So it's on Kindle. I'll link you to it. It's on Kindle and you can get a paperback as well. But all I can say about it, I mean, this is it. When you've written something, you don't like to blow your own trumpet, do you? But I mean, it makes me laugh. That's all I can say. And you know, it's had really positive reviews so far. So that's all.
I've enjoyed that little blurb more than anything. And I understand from one of the reviews on Amazon that there is a mention of Daniel O'Donnell in it.
Well, yeah, her best friend and mentor is this Daniel O'Donnell mug that she's got. A spoiler alert: he accidentally gets piss in him, so she can't actually use him as a mug anymore. But still, she talks to him and he gives her advice on all kinds of things. Do you remember? Okay. Did you ever read the Marmalade Atkins books?
I hadn't read them. I knew of them.
Oh, do you remember the Nodding Dog?
Yes.
It's kind of like the Nodding Dog, only it's a pissed-in Daniel O'Donnell mug.
Now, my mum used to be a massive Daniel O'Donnell fan. Would she like this book?
Possibly not. It's very sweary. It's very, very sweary indeed. So it depends how she is with swearing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nearly 40 and she still tells me off for swearing. So.
Yeah. Possibly don't get this for Mother's Day.
Maybe I'll buy a copy, then sort of redact out the swear words and then give it to her.
Yeah, all right. No.
Or I'll buy 2 copies.
I just think you're going to need a lot of pens to do that with. I don't think one pen's going to be enough.
Well, Jenny, thank you very much for coming along with this film. Apologies that you managed to get away without buying it while I'm the mug who did pay for it. So you can be found on Twitter as The World of Crap. Yeah, and I must point out, like I said to you earlier, that's not because I've got like ideas above my station. It's just World of Crap was taken when I joined Twitter, so I just panicked and came up with the first thing I thought of. So yeah, The World of Crap.
on Twitter, and I have a blog which is called Unsurprisingly World of Crap. And that's at worldofcrap.co.uk. And I'm not going to lie, it's mostly about bungle.
I was about to say there is a large bungle ratio.
I do occasionally write about other things, like it's generally bungle and complaining about things.
Okay.
I'd say that's what it is.
Now, weirdly, someone, when I started my job, this would have been 2001, we did a training course, and one of the trainers, his best mate, or apparently, maybe this is an urban myth, his best mate was Bungle.
Ooh. What's his name?
Now, I can't. He didn't tell me what his name was, and this was, I suppose, 2001, so I can't remember. But I always remember this guy just saying his mate played Bungle. Now, I don't know if this was sort of Bungle Generation 1
can
or
I ask,
2 or whatever.
how old was this guy?
Well, in 2001, he was probably 40-ish.
Alright, I bet that's Paul Cullinan. Possibly, I mean, I could be wrong, but it's possibly not what we would call canon bungle. No.
Canon Bungle.
Yeah. Do you... Right, yeah, because obviously there's Rainbow and there's Bungle. And then do you remember Thames lost the franchise and they did... it was took over by Tetra Films and they did like a weird Rainbow reboot.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah.
I've gone into this in great detail in a Den of Geek article where I rank the bungles, like from worst to best.
Now, I'm going to have to try and find this trainer. I'm not sure if he's still working for the same employer. I might have to try and find him on our internal email system and see if I can drop him a line. Unfortunately, in our office, the only mention of Bungle we get these days is Bungle's finger. Yeah, that's from Viz.
Oh, right, okay. I was like, I don't get that reference.
Not a nice one.
Okay. I think I can imagine, yeah.
Yes. On that bombshell, we've talked about piss, we've talked about Bungle's finger. It's time to let this one go to bed. But I will, as per usual, play out the podcast with the song that was number 1 in the UK at the time of this film's release. Now, in the UK, this was in April 1988. And it was Heart by the Pet Shop Boys. This podcast is brought to you by executive producer Gary West, associate producer Chris Oakley. You can contribute to the running of the page by clicking on patreon.com/Betamax.